I love Yakuza. This series had an enormous impact on me. It changed me, specifically its main character, Kiryu Kazuma. Yes, a video game character made me better as a person. I know it sounds funny and corny as hell, but he actually has. I adore him, and this is my love letter to Kiryu and to the whole series. Yakuza is a crime drama with high stakes, turns and twists, deaths and fights, and betrayals. A lot of betrayals. It's a series about people, about men struggling with their lives, trying to do the right thing when it seems impossible, about believing in yourself and others, about forgiveness, kindness, determination, dreams and duty, about going both out. It's so many things. And the epitome of all of that is Kiryu himself.
Look at this duck, it's pretty cool. I wish that I could be this cool.
He's one of the most stoic, wise, and firm characters ever, but he's also a silly goose a lot of the time. And, of course,
beautiful eyes.
Before we continue, a warning. I won't get into details, but I will spoil most of the mainline Yakuza games, up to Yakuza 7, so beware. Kiryu is a lot of things. He becomes a Yakuza trying to follow the steps of his father figure, the man he deeply respects, Shintaro Kazama. Because of that, Kiryu holds a very idealistic view of the Yakuza. To him, Yakuza are honorable people with their own code who otherwise would not fit into society. To be a Yakuza means to be strong enough to position yourself above the law and forge your own path. Of course, in reality that is not true. A quick Google research will tell you what being a Yakuza means.
People do just fine, without any help from the fucking Yakuza. They make an honest living. Unlike you. You fucking Yakuza!
And to be fair, Kiryu is not cut out to be a Yakuza, at least not in the usual sense. He's too kind and caring.
You think I'm a fucking idiot? Look at you, fuckhead! You couldn't be any more Yakuza if you tried.
Even though the game starts with him beating the shit out of a guy to collect a debt, he doesn't enjoy all the crime stuff.
How many times I gotta tell you, I'm not Yakuza. You retarded or just deaf?
In the latter games he tries to leave the Yakuza life behind. He starts an orphanage and tries to take care of kids, but because of his immense sense of duty, he gets brought back in the Yakuza deals time and time again. He can't help himself. To look the other way is not an option for Kazuma Kiryu. When I started playing Yakuza, I was at my lowest. I was studying at the university at the time and I didn't want to be there. I also had nothing going at my life except receiving one bad news after the other. By the end of Yakuza 1, Kiryu loses everything: his friends, loved ones, his father figure. He almost loses the will to live, but he still goes on. He keeps pushing and finds another meaning in life. Kiryu taught me that even when it feels like there is nothing in life but darkness, there is always something to keep you going. You need to stay strong no matter how hard it may be. Try to help others and always take care of people that are close to you. The story of Yakuza inspired me. To this day, during the moments of struggle, I remember the feeling I had completing these games and the message they taught me.
You don't get it, do you?
Get what?
Why are you doing this? Can you truly be happy with this life you've imagined? You're just running away from all your problems. If you really want to change your destiny, you have to come to grips with your problems. It's not easy, but you have to face them. Look at Kazuma and Haruka.
Shut up.
And I want to tell you my story, how I started playing Yakuza, how it became one of my favorite series, and some of my favorite moments in it. I hope my small video convinces you to at least try these games, they are beautiful. I started my path to becoming John Yakuza in 2019. Bakamitai meme hasn't exploded the internet yet, but I was already hearing about this game called Yakuza 0 and that you should play it if you are a real gamer. Considering myself one, I bought the game on sale and booted it up with mostly zero knowledge about it. From the get-go, we see our main character, Kazuma Kiryu, shaking down some guy and then giving the money he took from the guy to a loan shark. So he's not a good guy, at least doesn't look like one. Then Kiryu beats some thugs and meets with his friend, another Yakuza, Nishikiyama. We go to the bar, discuss some personal matter over a drink, and then
カラオケでもしてパッと騒ごうぜなあジャッジメントイエーイ
starts singing karaoke. And not just a normal song, it has a goofy ass cutscene of Kiryu and Nishiki being this boy band, having the time of their lives. Yakuza is known for these massive tonal shifts. At one point it's serious and dramatic and you're discussing politics and how corrupted everyone is. A second later, a criminal with an eye patch pretends to be a strip dancer just so he can fight you. Such shifts makes this world feel real. You want to immerse yourself into it. Kiryu is not this info-dumping machine going from one quest to another. He feels like a real person who sometimes just wants to have fun at a karaoke with his friend, or go fishing, or play games. He's corny, funny, and sometimes even horny, mostly in Zero though. But shit suddenly gets real when we find out that the guy Kiryu shook down is dead. Kiryu gets called to the HQ and 3 lieutenants who look cool as hell tell us that we are in deep shit. But Kiryu definitely didn't kill the guy, so we need to find out what's going on. That is a great setup. I was hooked. At this point I decided to call it a day and close the game to continue on the next day. Unfortunately, me being a casual gamer,
10 years in the joint made you a fucking pussy.
I didn't notice there were no autosaves in this game, so I didn't manually save and quit the game. The next time I booted the game, I was met with the prologue once again. I couldn't be bothered to play through all of that again, so I just closed it and didn't play it for like half a month. When I returned though, that's when the game grabbed me by my balls and didn't let go up until the end.
You gon' squeal like a bitch, motherfucker. Let me ask you something. Do you even listen to yourself when you open your mouth?
I wanted to tell you my story with this series to show you that my acquaintance began with the struggle, albeit a struggle I put myself to. But I had to overcome it to find out what being a real Yakuza means. In Yakuza 0, Kiryu's character only shapes up to be the person he will be later on. But even here we see glimpses of who he really is. When Tojo clan tries to hunt Kiryu down, he is saved by Nishiki, who takes him to nowhere actually. Dead in the woods, Kiryu gets out of a car, lights a smoke, and Nishiki points a gun to his head. Nishikiyama can't see his sworn brother suffer this terrible fate. He decides to alleviate Kiryu's suffering and kill him, but Kiryu is ready for it and looks Nishiki dead in the eye, telling him that he understands. Kiryu's determination is amazing. We are only left to wonder, was he ready to die here, or did he trust in Nishiki and knew he wasn't going to shoot him? This was the point I knew I had to see this story through. But the most memorable moment for me in Yakuza 0 has to be this. Kiryu made a new friend in the face of Tachibana, a real estate agent who works with Kazama, Kiryu's father figure. Tachibana also wants to find his sister, Makoto Makimura, whom he lost a long time ago. Throughout the story we get emotionally attached to both Tachibana and Makoto. Makoto is tied to another playable character, Goro Majima. She's a blind girl whom Majima is ordered to kill for an unknown reason. But Majima can't bring himself to killing this clueless little soul.
I should kill you. Stupid! Fucking motherfucker!
Anyway, Tachibana and Makoto almost meet, but Kiryu and Tachibana get ambushed by this weird Chinese professional killer. Kiryu is shot. Tachibana decides to sacrifice himself to save Kiryu and he's taken hostage. Tachibana is being tortured by this doofus, Daisuke Kuze. He's fucking insane and I love him.
I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Kiryu eventually finds them, but it's a little bit too late. I love to get super invested in good stories and I easily get emotionally attached. I have a habit to physically react to the things I see, but at the same time I am pretty reserved. For example, if something exciting happens, like when Kiryu ripped his shirt off, as always, and told Mina he will beat the sense into him, I screamed, "Let's fucking go!" but silently to myself, like this, "Let's fucking go!" But when Kiryu busted in to save Tachibana, I screamed out loud for Kiryu to punch Kuze's head in, and the game perfectly played into that feeling. The scene is perfect. Tachibana is being horribly tortured by Kuze's henchmen, but he doesn't give up and even taunts them. One of the scumbags goes too far and smacks Tachibana in the head with a sledgehammer. That's when Kiryu bursts in, sees his friend, no words, bam, punches Kuze right in the face. The soundtrack, the cinematography, the raw emotions. What a magnificent scene. The dialogue after the fight is even better. Kiryu doesn't give a damn about all of the Yakuza plotting. He's just pissed off someone hurt his friend. I won't spoil the next scene, but it was absolutely gut-wrenching. In all of the games we see Kiryu's ideals being challenged, his world being turned upside down, but he always takes everything on the chin. He shows indestructible will over and over. Kiryu is always determined to do what's right. Sometimes he fails, but he never stops. And that is represented the best in Kiryu's clash with the antagonist of each game, from Shibusawa to little baby Iwami. He learns things from some of them, others he teaches, but he is always determined to protect his ideals the only way he knows how, with his fists. One of my favorites being Goda Ryuji. Ryuji is like a mirror of Kiryu, a man who stands behind his ideas and won't back down, another dragon, a golden one at that. Ryuji doesn't participate in all the scheming of the Yakuza, he just wants to fight Kiryu, because there can only be one dragon. And even when the bomb is tickling and they are on the verge of death, they still decide to fight to find out whose ideas are stronger. A saying to live by. But Ryuji fights for himself while Kiryu fights to protect the people he cares about. The result is inevitable.
Right, I'll tell you what, you fat little cunt. You're boring. Go and fucking crawl in a dirty, dank little...
In fact, you are a bigger buffoon than I am.
Son, you've got a way to fall. They'll tell
Yakuza 3 is crucial for understanding Kiryu's character. The final of the game is brilliant. Kiryu confronts Mine, who sees no value in connections and in human life in general. He cares about power and money. But Kiryu drops bar after bar, dumps some knowledge on him. Incredible lines.
人間しがみついてでも這いつくばってでも
生きることに価値があるんだ。お前は自分しか信じちゃいない。自分以外の人間を心から信じれない。だから人から愛されないんだ。
Mina is numb to words though, so Kiryu reverts to fists, and again stands behind his words. In this game, Kiryu also shows that he's always ready to give someone another chance as long as they are ready for it. He never stops believing in others. Hamazaki betrays his trust and stabs Kiryu, but Kiryu still forgives him eventually. If you only play through the main story of Yakuza, you will get the impression that Kiryu is this cold, reserved person. But it is in sub-content his personality truly shines. Yakuza is famous for its side content. If the main story is this serious crime drama, soap opera type of thing, then the side content revolves around hilarious little moments that makes the world of Yakuza feel truly alive. You can always find what to do on the streets of Kamurocho or Sotenburi or other places we visit in the games. Darts, pool, bowling, baseball, karaoke of course, chicken racing, kart racing, pocket circuit racing, dancing, you can go to a cabaret, or you can manage one. That minigame is so addictive by the way, and every time I replayed the game I couldn't stop myself from playing it. And the best part is Kiryu getting a little bit too invested in these games and acting over the top. Just look at how much fun this goofy ass has playing toy cars and destroying other kids, or the meme moment when he picks up a call.
Moshi. Aru. Okay, got it. No. There's no change in the plan. Bye.
And of course I can't go past the Substories. Substories are these small tales of Japan's citizens whom our character encounters. They are fun, heartwarming, sometimes sad, bittersweet, humorous stories. And sometimes they can be a little creepy. Kiryu meets a random guy on a street who asks him to take a videotape from him because it's pure erotica and Kiryu should totally watch it. Kiryu goes to a video salon and watches the tape, and it's a little unsettling. Kiryu leaves the store, but he's met by a medium just outside, who tells Kiryu something evil has taken hold of him. Was the videotape cursed? Does Kiryu have only 7 days left to live? The medium asks to exorcise the evil from Kiryu for 100,000 yen. Right after that, the guy who gave us the tape stumbles upon us and tells us he's free from the curse because we have watched the video. Things seem eerie, but it can also be another scam, tons of which Kiryu encountered before. But then, walking on a street, Kiryu sees that girl from a tape and she just vanishes. Maybe we do need to go to the exorcist. Kiryu meets the exorcist and he performs a ritual, sort of. And he says we'll need a magic stone, available only for 300,000 yen, and it needs to be recharged, which will cost 500,000 yen more. Okay, he's definitely a fraud. But then, the girl appears again behind our back this time. The medium shits his pants and runs away. The ghost tries to touch Kiryu, but it vanishes, leaving the tape behind. Was it all just a scam? Or is there something more out there? We are left to wonder. I hope someday Yakuza games will remake the Sadako vs Kayako fight scene. The substories can be a lot of fun, like that time Kiryu beat up some thugs and then they invited him to relax with a girl, only to find out it's a weird place for fetishists who love to pretend to be babies. Or that time when Saejima, another playable character, sees a delivery guy struggling to bring the noodles to a customer because the road is covered in ice. We help him out and have to try to deliver the noodles for him on a slippery ice with a bunch of people screaming and sliding towards us. At least my homie that way always gets me. But the substories can also be incredibly heartwarming. Goro Majima, a second playable character in Yakuza 0, encounters a little girl. Majima tells her to go to her parents, but she doesn't leave, and two thugs try to steal her to then blackmail her parents. Majima beats them up, obviously. The girl confesses that she wants a stuffed animal, a squirrel from the UFO catcher. Majima catches it and gives it to the girl, and she leaves. But then she comes back for a different toy, which we get her, and she starts calling us daddy because fathers bring toys to their kids and she doesn't have a real father. She comes back again for another toy, which we also get, but then her toy gets torn up by the same thugs from before. They also steal the kid's mother. We beat the scumbags again and save the woman. And then we get this incredibly touching scene. Majima gives a small speech about how even though the toy has one eye and it is beaten up, it still has a heart and is still full of love, just like him. It's super wholesome short story. Majima may be a mad dog who stabs people and loves to fight shirtless, but he also has a heart of gold, just like all the protagonists of the series, especially Kiryu. He might have a face of stone and a look of a criminal, but he helps others all the time. He doesn't care where you're from, what gender are you, how impossible the odds may seem to help you. So long as you are not throwing the first punch or bullying those who won't fight back, he will be there for you. Because it's the right thing to do, because it's kind. The warm fuzzies you get at the end of most side quests just as much rewards as the stuff you unlock or upgrade. I mainly talked about Kiryu, but all the playable characters have a special place in my heart. I love Akiyama. How can you not love a man with that voice? I only wish we had more of his interactions with Hana. They are adorable. Saejima taught me to always go balls out, kiddo. And the new hero, Ichiban, is amazing. He's filling the shoes Kiryu left, but is doing it in his own way. He's not a replacement. He is goofy and kind and a lot more down to earth than Kiryu. There are some other things I would like to discuss in these games. The cutscenes are captivating and engaging. The series never fails to make me feel on the edge of my seat, even when some story beats look questionable. If I had a dime for every time good guys beat up a bad guy and leave a gun by their side, I would be a millionaire. But the cutscenes that look like they were taken from a super cool crime drama always put me right back in. The gameplay is stellar and really drives home that feeling of power fantasy. It's mostly not hard in execution, but it's deep enough and it feels very satisfyingly to punch your way through the hordes of enemies. And hit actions are brutal and raw and jaw-dropping. And the music, man, the soundtrack of every game is top notch. Karaoke songs are great, but the whole OST is amazing, with different genres blending in a variety of instruments flowing and synergizing with one another on each track, projecting a bouquet of feelings. Just some of my favorites: the Outlaw's lullaby sounds like some shit went down in a jazz club. The nasty bass shimmers into horns and a chaotic piano. A scattered eternal moment has a very sad, almost melancholic sound to it, dominated by a piano. It has a much slower pace, unusual for a final boss fight, which reflects on a fight between Kiryu and Ryuji. They are not fighting to survive, because, as far as they know, they will not make it out alive. This is a fight for respect. Two dragons communicating the only way they know how, with their fists. Ledge of Demon is a certified banger. The guitar riff is superb. It has a nice build up into the second part, where guitar just rips the skies off. The song is a literal testosterone injection. Destiny is another banger, but with a somber feel to it. Melodic violin is combined with a heavy riff that gets you both hyped and kind of sad. Perfect song for Somei, who has no choice but to fight Kiryu to save his loved one. He might not have a tattoo, but he's a real Yakuza. Theory of Beauty is a high-paced rhythmic song that could be played by a DJ at a rave party or any other party. Get Over It has a long build up to the second part, but when you reach it, it absolutely pays off. High guitar string perfectly transmit Kiryu's feeling after he returns from the prison to find out his whole world turned upside down. The guitar almost scratches your soul. Rain is a culmination of all the feelings I had by the end of Majima's story in Zero. A perfect song for a raid on the biggest family in the Tojo clan. It emits raw fury and brilliantly catches the feeling of going off the rails, bursting in and absolutely destroying everything on your way. If you can't decide whether to play any of these games or not, I heavily advise you to try them out. Maybe not one after the next if you don't have 300 hours to spare, but these are some of the best games out there. Each entry is special. Yakuza series will offer you a great story, captivating gameplay, amazing soundtrack, unparalleled side content. It's such a wholesome series. If you're not sure where to start, try Yakuza 0. It's one of the best entries. It's a prequel to the series, but there aren't any spoilers to other games, and it doesn't have any baggage of other games, apart from some Easter eggs. Then you can move on to Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2, the remakes of the first two games. Then Yakuza 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Gaiden and 8. This way you will experience the story as a whole. You will feel a slight drop off coming from Kiwami 2 to Yakuza 3, since Kiwami 2 is one of the more recent ones. It came out in 2017 and Yakuza 3 was released in 2009. But Yakuza 3 is still an amazing game with a great story. It is also pivotal for Kiryu's character arc. You can also start with Yakuza 7, also known as Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's a soft reboot with a new protagonist, Ichiban Kasuga, and new gameplay. The first 7 games are beat-em-ups, while 7 is turn-based. Some people might be turned off by the turn-based style of gameplay. I get it, it's not for everyone, but actually I thoroughly enjoyed it and found it quite fun. But also consider that the newest game, Yakuza 8, marks the return of Kiryu as co-protagonist alongside Ichiban, so I still encourage you to play all of the games. I love this series. These characters and their stories taught me a lot of things and reminded me that no matter how bad things may be, you need to keep pushing, Kiryu can't be talked out of something he believes is right. He's kind and passionate. His determination is on a whole different level. A muscular man who hammers his philosophy into others with his bare fists. He is a fantasy, an unreachable peak of mountain. But that's the point. Even in the game, other characters look up to Kiryu. And I am the same way. I will always strive to be better, to do th-things right. Kiryu-san, I hope one day I can be just like you.